Teth Adam. Hear the word. You are summoned. If you smell what the rock is cooking, Shazam! Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Joseph R. Wheeler III, the artist, founder, and president of the ONYXCON Foundation, with a very special ONYXCON exclusive coming live and direct after I just saw Black Adam, aka Teth Adam. I like that Teth. I love that. I really do. I want them to just change the whole thing to Teth Adam. Make these folks speak another language and learn something else about the world. Don't be so narrow, you know? So I'm gonna, I have to start by saying, we recently here on ONYXCON, we have a lot of different content. If you're new to our content, you need to make sure you subscribe. We have one show that we do called ONYXCON Fitness Sports Talk. And in Sports Talk, yours truly is the host, and I bring on a number of friends I will be bringing on. But starting off, my number one, my first contributor, my best friend for the job on that. Okay, he's the man when it comes to sports. He is a living sports commentator as a true fan, my man, Mr. Rise Up. And we talked about Black Adam because he's a movie buff. He's the dude he's that friend in your crew who, as soon as the movie comes out, he sees it the first night, the second night, or the third, or maybe goes back one night and goes the next night and just, it's like, dang, man, you saw it 3 times in a row? Yeah. So let me break it down. But he's always been that dude. So shout out to you, Mr. Rise Up. I'm so tempted to say his real name all the time because he's one of my day ones. And if I ever slip, I'm going to have to edit this because we're going to stick with his code name. But anyway, my man, he was real harsh on it, yo. You know you wildin', bro. You know you wildin'. Like, if you're doing like 5 stars, how many stars? Like
1.5.
Oh, bro, don't be that mean, bro. Don't do it.
Sorry, Rock.
Don't do that to my dog. Did we see the same movie? We did not see the same movie, okay? I'm sorry. We could not have seen the same movie. There's no way we saw the same movie. So if you saw that footage, and if you haven't, go back and watch. It's a fun show. Well, what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to introduce what we call the ONYXCON rating system, which, I've done a million reviews here. Or not a million, but, I've done a lot. And I just want to start this on this episode. And we're going to do it by way of every letter in the word ONYXCON. All caps. One word. All right? ONYXCON. So ONYXCON. That's 7. Lucky 7, baby. Yes. And we are forever the 8. Okay? But that's just the ONYXCON. Ha! You could just at the end, whatever. That take it to the forever. But anyway, the exclamation mark, right? We'll do 7. We'll do 7 stars, and each star represents every letter in ONYXCON. If you get a 5 on anybody else's scale, you can consider that a classic. If you get a 6, you can represent that as it might be more specific. It's not just a classic to ONYXCON, but it's a classic to others and other cultural experiences. Because ONYXCON has its own, it's a lifestyle. So we have our own cultures, all right, that we are influenced by, that we are a part of, and that we create ourselves here at ONYXCON. So you could say if anything ever gets 6 stars, it is beyond just the culture of even ONYXCON's view of it. We know that this is having massive impact and will continue to influence the genres of film that it represents. Now, if it gets a 7, that is us saying it is not just, you could say 6 is a GOAT, a greatest of all time. But if it gets a 7, then a film is definitely a GOAT, meaning something else has to come along within the genres of what it is, within the film, within the medium of film, to challenge this spot and knock it out as the new champion, or put it, not really knock it out. It just joins the league of champions. You feel me? Now, this film, I will be honest, is very far from a 5, 6, or a 7 from my scale, but that's not because it's not a great film. Okay. I am a filmmaker. I am an actor. I am a writer. I am a producer. I've done independent films, and I have personally worked on films of this caliber in the Atlanta area. I'm born and raised in ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, and we are the new Hollywood of the South. We say new, we don't even need to say new no more. It's established, well established. It's well over 10 years now, because I'm on my 9th year in the biz. And I know when I started, I felt like a pioneer in my city, because I started in background. I still do background humbly, but I am SAG eligible, okay? I'm saying all of this for people who understand the industry, and they're gonna understand my perspective as I go forward. Try my best to be objective. And I am gonna give you my personal, but I'm gonna also give you an objective perspective on why this film is great, based on being in the industry, based on knowing what it takes to create a film this big and of this magnitude, even for a star as big as The Rock. And also acknowledge the fact that this was, I mean, yes, I'm slightly biased for the fact this was made in Atlanta, and I know how many people I wanted to be on this film. I went out for this film as doing BG. They needed multiple bald-headed men. I need to get a fresh shave. My stubble is coming back, but it's coming out. I'll keep it shiny for you ladies. But I went out for this film. I wanted to be in it. There was a call, and ironically, I didn't get called in for it officially, but you know, it was made here is what I'm saying. Crew and cast people who do the doggone thing. We make it possible. I'm proud of y'all. This is an excellent, excellent making of a product. It is absolutely awesome. You know, it kind of saturated my mind early with getting ready for disappointment. But I went back to my optimism side and said, I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm going to keep thinking of this as it's bound to be great. I'm going to enter with that. I'm going to keep in mind everything he said. How many stars? Like
1.5.
Oh, bro, don't be that mean. What I read other people say, because there have been a few bad reviews and people talking that stuff and whatnot. And then there's people who say, yo, it's the greatest superhero movie of all time. People say that every time a superhero movie comes out. Can we just be honest? If there's always at least one person to say anything that's a superhero comic book film of any sort, somebody's gonna say this is the greatest one of all time. If you look at it, it's always said. No, it's not that, but it doesn't have to be. It's okay. It is. It really is. It's okay. Every superhero movie that comes out doesn't have to try to top the last one that was a big film, whether it was Marvel or DC or any of the other comic book companies that get their products made into films, okay? So, credit to my boy, my man, Mr. Rizzo. He did elaborate. He did say why. He said for him, story was off. He wasn't feeling like the story was strong enough. I counter that completely. This is the type of film, right, where they made sure they know the audience now. They know how people are about, make sure I understand, because I don't be watching all these comic book movies. They know there's those people. They know there's those people who are like watching for every scene to look like a panel from their favorite issue of this and that, and the story arcs that combine. And if you knew this guy's story, then you know how it goes with that woman. And that woman is her, that's her sister, and that's the mom. Now, let me say this. I'm not a Black Adam Shazam. I have to mention Shazam because the way I see it, I could be wrong because I don't know the exact history of these characters, because I was never a big DC head. I was aware of them. I'm aware of just about every mainstream character at DC. And I'm becoming more aware because as I get older, I give DC a little bit more of a chance than I used to, because DC as a company has changed. You know, shout out and much respect to what Jim Lee has brought to the table. He has converted that company into a diversity-based company. They have seen the errors in their ways of not being diverse, of being a mostly Americana, Eurocentric company since its beginning, and they see the benefit of how Marvel has always strived, even if they didn't get it right, to try to be as diverse and inclusive as they could possibly be of every ethnicity and every walk of life. And it has resulted in them having the bigger fandom base, right? Or at least it's arguably the bigger fandom base. For all you out there who goes, that's not true. Look at the numbers. Yeah, I know. Regardless, if you look at fandom, just sheer, not just buying one book or one, line of stories connected to one character that everyone loves, because I love Batman, but really loving just about everything a company puts out because most of their characters are so dope and on point, or got something to say that a lot of people can relate to, not just a few people, and not even trying to reach a lot of people. Now, they both still make mistakes all the time, personal opinions and general fan opinions. You'll hear this. And that depends on your walk of life, what you appreciate, what you want to see. And that goes into the movies and everything. We're all walking opinions, right? Every last one of us. So mind you this, I'm not saying anything I have to say about this is the absolute end all be all. But where I'm right, I'm right. And where I know. Okay? Okay. All right. So Shazam, you know, in the comics, a white character who, to my understanding, is a little boy who, if he says the magical word Shazam, turns into this big bodybuilder, strong superhero, a la Superman-esque character. Every film has an energy, and once they establish that energy as being a family film, a fun, zany, but these words tend to go with a certain climate of energy, culturally, ethnically, economically, everything for the demographic they're targeting for who's going to go sit their butts and see this movie or see it at home or however you're going to, streaming it, buying it when it comes out, whatever. They got a target market. This is why Black Panther meant so much to so many people and why Wakanda forever will mean so much to so many people all over the world, but especially African Americans, especially Black folk in America, because we have been waiting for something to have a budget like this to bring our concepts and our heroism and images of us in this genre of superheroism to that level. And it's not because we look at it like this is the end-all be-all. We still need the independent comics voices to rise to that same level of credibility, to that same level of financing and everything. We want to see that happen too. That's a big part of what ONYXCON is all about, especially through our ONYXCON Film Festival. Depending on who's writing a film, depending on their background, depending on their culture, you're going to get certain jokes. You're going to get certain punchlines. You're going to get that mixed with the actor themselves. In this case, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's company, $7 was the executive producer. So you can see his control over the film as an actor throughout the process. You can see where he's letting the writers do what they did. He's saying the lines here and there as they were written. You can tell, I can tell as an actor. I've been on sets. I know how this stuff changes on the moment. I know how somebody says, I know, fifth take. Can we change that? Hey, you're the boss. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say this. Sounds good to me, Rock. And ish changes immediately. You feel me? But that's when you're executive producer. So thank you, Rock, for, doing what he had to do, I know, to get this made after he had already tried. If you look at the history of his interviews of how he had tried to make this before, and it took years. It took over a decade for him to get it made, to get it approved, to get the negotiations for him to be this. That alone is worth so much and hands applause, because in the business, it tells other people who are doing the same struggle, it can happen. You can get there. It's happening time and time again as the industry is starting to wake up to these new markets and understand diversity is where it's at, and there's no running from the future. We have to embrace everybody. We have to show everybody. We have to give everybody a voice. In doing so, we also need to diversify on every level of the process, not just who's on the camera, but who's writing, So in a lot of cases, I saw a mix of writing. I saw some stuff that I'm like, okay, I know who I think the type of individual who would have wrote this. And this isn't just, racial, ethnic stuff. This is just a certain kind of way of mind thinks that some people think a certain way, some people don't. And the jokes just weren't hidden. And in other cases, I'm laughing my behind. I'm like, okay, that one worked. That really worked. Especially, I'll just say sarcasm was great. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. See? Easy spoilers. They're not spoilers that you ain't seen the movie, you don't even know what I'm talking about. All right? Sarcasm, it worked. So in the Marvel universe, and this is a fair comparison, you'll see what I'm saying. In the Marvel universe, on film and in the comics, but especially on film, because there's a vast contrast sometimes between what you have for generations, and I do mean generations of writers and artists depicting these characters in the books. And I'm one who still goes to comic book shops. I don't collect like I used to, but I'm still in the environment. I'm still in the biz. I'm still there. You feel me? So for all of us who do that, this is another part about people's opinions. No pun intended to my man, Mr. Rise Up, but I don't know if he ever picks up a comic book in the last 10 years, here and there, whatever. But I know he's not a major collector. He's not, he grew up on them like we all did, but I know he doesn't collect them in his adulthood like I do. And like a lot of adults do. So
1.5.
No, bro, don't be that mean. If you don't have that same kind of understanding of what has been going on in the books, and more importantly, what's been going on all around the comic book industry, and what changes they're making and how they're making changes, and what happens when a movie like this comes out and The Rock is the character versus in the books, he still looks like he could be, if you wanted to label him ethnically by the way he's drawn by different artists, everyone's drawing him differently. Up until this movie came out, every depiction you're going to see him looking like, I don't know, a slick-haired, brunette, dark black, jet black-haired, widow's peaked, I mean, quite frankly, it's ironic. It's not ironic. I see it all the time. It's what the industry does. It's almost like Namor, okay? Namor in the comics, who's going to be in Black Panther. In Black Panther, he's Latino, basically. He's played by a Latino actor. The motifs that are surrounding the actor and his people as Namor are basically Mayan, Aztec, especially Mayan-influenced motifs, right? In the comics, it's just all Atlantis. They're their own race. And yes, the people, in the 60s and all that, the way he was drawn, it was always just kind of like, it's pointy-nosed, could be white, could be Latino, by phenotypes of how somebody is drawn. Again, artist style. I'm a visual artist. I draw, so I know. It just depends on who's doing what, right? So people don't, there's a lot of sensitivities to all this stuff. And market-wise, they know the ignorance and the knowledge potential of who's going to come see a movie. So when they decided on The Rock, or made the deal with The Rock to make this, I thought back to something I saw happen, okay, with him changing his look. Many years ago, The Rock went through a phase, and some of y'all remember this. He just stood out to me was not that so much. I thought, he's just on a different diet. He's doing something to train for a role or something, whatever. It was the hair. Rock has curly hair, that kind of hair that can do a lot of different textures, okay? Being black and Samoan with his particular genes, because that combination can give you a lot of variation. But the bottom line is, I've seen pictures of him when he was a little kid, okay, where his hair can go into a circular round form of curly hair, not tightly curled, but curly hair. And I've seen pics of him when, once he got into WWE, he was trying to do the whole Elvis look and all that. I think maybe he was doing some chemicals in his hair and pressing it sometimes when he had to shave sideways. But around this time I'm talking about, he had a full head of hair that was slicked back. It was jet black, slicked back. It wasn't a big deal to me. I mean, The Rock is The Rock. I don't care about your look as much as just what you're doing next, man. I'm a fan. What is this? What is this getting ready for, right? Anyway, so here's the thing. I really think he was trying to get Black Adam. And it didn't happen back then. As we know now, because of his interviews he's come out with saying, hey, we've been trying to do this for a long time. I think shortly after that look is when he went to the bald thing. And it works for him, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the baldy heads out here. We do the dang on thing. And, if it works for you, it works. And ladies love it, So he did that, and the ladies love Rock, so it didn't matter. He kept going. He is everything else he's been ever since. And then Black Adam. So I'm putting all the pieces together, y'all. And I really think that had a lot to do with it. So just as an actor in the biz, I commend that. I'm really proud that he stuck with it and made his personal dream come true. He talks about how, personal this character is to him. And you can see that. You can see that in this film. When you think about all his superhero characters that he's played, or hero characters in general, whether he was superpowered or not, to see him do this, you can see his passion. You can see his love for this character and really making it his own. It may not be a 10, but it's okay. It may not be the 5-star. It's okay. It's okay. It's the freaking Rock, man. He gave you Black Adam looking good, looking dope, doing dope stuff, and the rest of the characters are amazing. Can I start with Hawkman? Yo, Haj, brother, you murked this. You killed it, bro. I was so proud of Hawkman as soon as before I saw the movie, I saw, just the promos for how the costume, I said, they on point. That's all I needed to know between his costume and Adam. And even my man is Dr. Fate. We remember Remington Steele, y'all. This is the generation that grew up on that. So he was cool as he always is. He's just cool as a cucumber. He that dude. And then you add in Haj as the leader, like literally, like it's almost like it's like the X-Men flying around in their jet. And he's got his own jet, and he's got the costume that can come and go. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so with it. Now I will say they're starting to overuse that for everybody. I mean, I'm gonna let it go because I can see it. It's never gonna change. It's been established by what? Black Panther. Okay, your stuff comes over your face and comes over your body. He wasn't the first. There's others. Mystique's effect in X-Men. All of that. There's plenty of others who did it, but I'm saying what established it. All right, and everybody's been doing it ever since. I love it. I think it's really cool. I love to see it in every movie when it happens. I just would like to see. I don't want it to be so common that literally it's just assumed, oh, he's a superhero. Yeah, okay, everybody's costume is gonna grow over their faces. Costume on. Not everybody. Let some folk put their stuff on, whatever. And again, this is a character I didn't read, but I was always intrigued by because even though he's depicted as this white guy who's connected to Egypt, there's a lot of those in comics. What's that about? All these very European guys that want to be Egyptian, when we all should know the real history of ancient, even talking about ancient Egypt too. Even if it was modern Egypt, you'd still need to be more than likely Arabic or Afro-Arabic. But they always tend to be these white guys who just know everything about Egypt, want to be Egypt, just like the whole fascination with Asian martial arts and these white masters of Asian arts that will go back and fight Asians and beat them at their own styles, time and time again. This is the ridiculousness that everybody who's a fan of these films is so tired of, right? So to see Rock get this role, being a man of African and Polynesian ancestry, which all ties back to the motherland, which we all tie back to, but direct African descents, okay? And give a true, believable depiction of someone born in a region, whether fictional or not, is obviously pointing to an Afro-Asiatic, African, Middle Eastern, mixed culture of ancient time. Because they say at the beginning of the movie that this is before even Egypt. I'm like, okay, I see what y'all trying to do. Y'all just gonna have all the fun with fantasy. Okay, I'm looking, I'm watching, and I'm seeing you tie in ancient Egypt, Kemet, with Babylon, with other cultures of the Middle East and Northern and Eastern Africa. I see it happening. I see what you did there. I'm cool with it, as long as your casting is tight. And I will say, with most of the guys that were bald in the slave situation and all of that, I noticed a lot of tans, even if they weren't all black or Latin or whatever they needed to be to give a look that was believable, all right? So, cool. You got that. That'll work. Because this is we should never be going backwards to Elizabeth doing Cleopatra. That was absolutely absurd, okay? That should never happen again, all right? Yeah, Gods of Egypt should have taught you something. Late, rest his soul forever, Chadwick did what he did in there, but the rest of it was like, what? Huh? Okay, but this is not that movie. Black Adam is dope. Hawkman brought it. His fight scenes with Black Adam are superb. At one point, and even the script is conscious of this, you're like, okay, again, it's enough boom, bam, boom, but one time, great. Round 2, sure. About to be 3, come on, y'all. We got bigger things to handle here, all right? And they made jokes about it, like, all right, we don't need this again, but there y'all go. Y'all can't stop yourself. But it worked out because it kept the action fresh. And also, the main villain, it gave that character time to get to its optimal point and for you to take him serious. Because up until that point, you're just kind of like, okay, who's this jerk? What's he gonna really do? You can see it coming. You know what's gonna happen. But you're just like, okay, when and how? When we gonna go there? Like, can we just go ahead and get it over with? Let's go, right? And then it happens. And you're happy. And you're like, great hero in, let me not give it all away. You know he's got to win. So great hero ending, right? But there's more. And I'm not going to give away the final, but I will say, yeah, it's worth staying for. So don't rush out your seat as soon as the movie is over. Just don't do that to yourself. You're going to enjoy that. You're going to enjoy the moment. It's hilarious and it's right on time. And it's perfect for what Rock keeps saying is this is going to change everything in DC. It's believable of why he said that. All right. Now, back to the rest of the other characters. Hawkman was dope. My little cutie. Oh, she's so pretty. Wind Girl is off the chain. She's cute as hell. How old are you, baby? Let me stop. Let me look that up before I get all flirty up in here. But she's a real cutie and she's very talented. And it just, yeah, she did a doggone thing. I liked her little semi-young folks romance with Grow Giant guy. Sorry, I'm not a DC head. I'll look it up later. But that guy, yeah, you know what I mean? They had a good energy. They didn't overdo that because that could have killed some stuff if they just kept letting them have a teenage love. Don't hurt me again. If you don't know hip hop, you don't understand. You need to know your history if you're claiming hip hop. All right, Slick Rick. But they were doing a teenage love kind of vibe, right? But they weren't technically supposed to be teenagers. I mean, she says at one point that she was captured and given her powers at 16. So she's supposed to be, I think, about what she is in real life, but she's got to be in her 20s. Like I say, she's cute. What's up? Anyway, so yeah, they did a great job. And I loved her intelligence. I'm loving all of this intelligent and beautiful women on camera stuff going on right now. It's not just about, oh, I'm fine, I look good when I got my makeup on and my hair is blowing in the wind and I'm doing super stuff. No, I got brains and I'm a true contribution to the team. You feel? And at the same time, the badass girl gets to be badass girl, divine feminine energy, the badass dudes get to be badass dudes, divine masculine energy, and it's all balanced the way it should be. My kind of stuff. Just saying. So there's that. My man, like I said, Remington Steele, Dr. Fate was dope as hell. A lot of people kept comparing him to Dr. Strange and say, oh, it's a ripoff. But I heard some people say, no, Dr. Fate was before Strange as far as a character being introduced in comics. So go figure, right? I always liked the helmet. The helmet was enough for me. The costume was kind of cool, but the helmet is everything. It's just dope. It's like, that's wild and I like it. Okay? And it just looks dope. That gold helmet, the shape, the form is so... And it's just like the comics. They brought that dope. So, like I say, all of this is what you're going to get when you go see this film. The scenery, the magic moments, the special effects of the magic moments. You're not missing anything here for what you're coming for. People say popcorn movie. When people say that, I think people have their own personal definition. There's a general definition. To me, I've always said that means like, oh, you could be paying attention or not paying attention. It's not important. It's just a fun... throw popcorn and eat, and I don't get the plot. So what? There's action. Ha ha, stuff blowing up and people fighting. Yeah, but no, there's still a plot. There is a story. And some of the greatest, in a long time, some of the greatest political about warfare and about exploitation of nations statements are being made by there's a young boy who is like the young lead of this film, and his mom, who is a revolutionary. Her only line that I didn't like, that didn't make sense, is when Black Adam is basically being his badass self and saying, I'm here, you want me to save you and your people from exploitation of this outside force that's come in and try to take over your country and colonize and imperialize, okay, as they did in his time and as they're still doing now. We just kill him. We're not going to take that. We kill him to send a message. You can't do that over here. You're going to respect me or get the hell on, right? And she's like, can we not teach my son violence? And I'm thinking, some other people might say other bad writing. That was the worst writing for me. That's not real for that character to me. She's a rebel, a guerrilla rebel. Like, when you first get introduced to her, she's on a plan and a plot to go discover something that's going to help the revolution, and she's hiding out. Like, I mean, this woman would be like, no, baby, let me show you how to lock, load, and stay ready. That would be her. And her son's father died for the revolution. She'd be a straight, like Tupac's mom. You feel me? Like, come on, y'all. You got to do better. Let's just be more realistic with these characters. If you're going to write a character a certain way, let's be real. She's not a soccer mom. Can we not talk about violence? Please, Black Adam. Let's not have him doing violence. The whole damn movie's violent. What the hell are you talking about? Throw some more people that done killed everybody. Got you in slavery. In modern time slavery. Throw him to the ocean, Rock. Popcorn throw. Funny as hell when he was throwing them dudes. What? Yes. This is the outlet for real life pressure. You got to have a movie to fantasize it so people don't act out, some of this stuff. But let's face it. This is as close as you're going to get to it. So don't ruin the moment. Don't give me that weak stuff, man. For who he is in the comics. Now, like I say, I'm not a DC fan, but I've looked at him, I've flipped through and read enough panels of Hawkman in the last, let's give it 10 years, to the folks who would know him and relate that to what they're seeing on screen. Stop the madness, y'all. That part's got to end. We got to stop pretending these characters are not what they are. Tell the truth about what they represent and let them be what they are so that the bigger lessons can be made, because you're going to show the violence anyway. All right? You're obsessed with violence in this culture. My thing has always been, make it fun fantasy violence, because the movie would be over in 5 minutes, if that. No real fights last this long, or people cannot endure this kind of pain and anguish of a bout and being hit with some of this stuff, or being hit by another human being a certain size and training. And even those people with masterful skills can be severely hurt. I've been on sets where stunt people get knocked into a coma from just tripping down stairs, people. Not a fight scene in the movie. Tripped down some stairs and got sent off in an ambulance. So Don't give me the, oh, we're trying to make it real. We won't keep everything. Stop all the real garbage. Let's just have fun, y'all. Let's be real enough that it's believable enough for you to respect the story. But let's be real about the character's intent, too. If the guy is hardcore with a spiked bat and everything, like I say in the comments, he's slinging folk. Why is in this movie, he's like Captain America or like Superman in most of the comics, like, oh, I don't kill killers who maul and destroy and rape and pillage. We give even them a chance at a trial. At a trial? What are you talking about? If that was the character, cool. But that's so far from what I'm seeing. You're a slayer, man. Slay. You know, and maybe that's gonna happen in the future. Maybe something will happen to his character in the movie plots, because I think he truly deserves his own film. Hopefully Hawkman gets a movie, and maybe they'll transition him into the slayer that I know him to be in the comics. So that's my review of Black Adam, and we're gonna sum this bad boy up with a solid Teth Adam, 3 stars, ONNY. That means it is solid, worth the visit. Go watch it. If it were a 2, I'd say, what the hell was that? And O is, I watched it. I mean, I did see it, or I tried to finish it. Whether I finished it or not, that would be the O rating, right? The N, 2, that's like, yeah, they got a lot of work to do. That was not it. 3, that was a decent movie, solid joint, fun. I'd buy it and watch it again. I'm gonna be watching it all the time, but it had a lot of great moments, a lot of great statements being made here and there, amidst a fun, quote-unquote, popcorn movie. Go enjoy Black Adam. Don't believe the hype for folk who diss it. Sorry, my brother, Mr. Rise Up. You know you're my dog, but you're wrong on this one as far as I'm concerned. That's a 3-star every day on the ONYXCON scale. Believe that. Black Adam. Teth Adam. And I want to be in the next one. Let me be one of his homies in a big hood. Saving the hoods. Bump the hoods, neighborhoods, because we ain't about hoods. We need neighbors in the world. Much love, y'all. Peace.